Act 1, the spark of rebellion. Peter and the guys are drinking at the Drunken Clam when a group of leather-clad bikers barge in. They're loud, scary, and get free drinks just by looking cool. Peter, Lois never lets me wear leather. Last time I tried, I passed out from thigh sweat. Cutaway gag, Peter tries on leather pants. He gets stuck, panics, and Brian has to butter him out of them like a greased pig. Back at the bar, Peter gets jealous of the bikers' street cred. Peter, you know what this town needs? A biker gang with a little pizzazz. A little Griffin grease. Smash cut to title sequence, The Griffin Greasers. Rockabilly music plays over a montage of them poorly trying to act tough. Recruitment montage, Peter recruits Joe, who has high-speed nitro wheels but zero control. Quagmire, who insists on riding a child's tricycle. Quagmire, giggity, low ride, baby. Cleveland, who insists on riding side saddle like an old-timey lady. They design awful leather jackets, with Peter's face embroidered on the back giving 2 thumbs up. Act 2, Turf Wars and Cookie Crumbs montage, they ride around town awkwardly. Joe overshoots every corner, Quagmire's tricycle squeaks, and Cleveland keeps falling off. They try to act like real bikers, demand free nachos at Applebee's. Get rejected from a biker bar for wearing too much Axe body spray. Try to intimidate a real biker gang, who laugh hysterically. Turning point, Peter, desperate to prove themselves, finds an open territory, on a turf map, Girl Scout cookie turf. Peter, if we take over the cookie game, people will fear us, or at least respect us with thin mints. They steal a Girl Scout cookie stand at the supermarket. Scene, Peter pulls up, revs his motor, and swipes the cookie boxes like a cartoon villain. Quagmire falls off his trike trying to carry a stack of Samoas. Act 3, Thin Mint mayhem. Back at the Griffin house, they're rolling in cookie boxes, celebrating like gangsters. Lois, you stole from children. You can't ride around town like some sugar-coated mobsters. Peter brushes it off. But suddenly, doorbell rings. Outside, a small army of angry Girl Scouts stands ready, complete with badges, brass knuckles, and cookie launchers. Girl Scout leader, you messed with the Thin Mint Syndicate. Now you pay the crumbs. Chase scene, Joe tries to flee but goes too fast, crashing into a mailbox. Cleveland rides side saddle directly into a lemonade stand. Quagmire is dragged off-screen by a rope made of cookie boxes. Peter hides in a tree, pelted by tagalongs. Cutaway gag, Girl Scouts interrogate Quagmire with a flashlight and a stale trefoil. Girl Scout, where are the cookies? Quagmire, I'll talk. I'll talk. Just don't take away my dos. Act 4, The Sweet Surrender. The gang begs for forgiveness. The Girl Scouts agree, on one condition, the guys must sell cookies door to door in full uniform. Montage, Peter in pigtails and sash, ringing doorbells. Joe speed-wheeling through the suburbs tossing boxes like paperboys. Quagmire flirting with old ladies for tips. Cleveland gets into a turf war with a rival brownie troop. Final scene at the Clam, they return, defeated. Peter, well boys, we might not be bikers, but we are top sellers in the Northeast region. Quagmire, giggity giggity. Girl power. Cue credits roll over the Griffin Greasers performing a cheesy doo-wop version of the Girl Scout cookie song. Top Hat Act 1, The Rise of the Great Paterno. Peter is watching YouTube at 2 a.m. right after eating a full box of cheese sticks and a glow stick. He stumbles across a 3-minute video titled, Learn Magic Fast, Become a Pro in One Trick. Peter, with his mouth full of cheese and a bright glow stick in hand, declares, that's it. I'm gonna be the next Chris Angel, but more handsome and less shirt. He immediately rebrands himself as the Great Paterno and coerces his family into attending his daily magic shows in the living room. During one act, Peter triumphantly pulls goldfish out of Lois's purse, to which she screams the obvious, "Peter, we don't even own fish." For his next trick, Peter turns Stewie's sippy cup into pudding, by the simple method of switching them when no one is looking. In a misguided attempt to saw Chris in half, he manages to devastate the couch and mutilate Chris's Nintendo, leaving his son in half as distressed as before. Cutaway gag, Peter performs a street magic trick for the elderly, dramatically pulling out a fake thumb, except his trick renders an actual, disembodied thumb. Old lady, well, it wouldn't be bingo without a severed limb. Told you, Gloria. Statue of Liberty ACT 2, the disappearing mayor, statue. At Quahog's annual Civic Pride Day, Peter's spotlight as entertainment involves the disappearance act of a memorial statue of the beloved mayor Adam West. Cloaked in old curtain fabric and wielding a toy wand, Peter mistakenly projects, "I shall honor the mayor," by temporarily erasing his existence. Uttering, "Hocus Brocus," he presses a random button on a remote, confident in its magical properties. The statue astoundingly vanishes. The audience gasps, Peter raises his hands, exclaiming "Tada! Wait, where did it go?" Brian, frowning at the figures on his inexplicable dimensional tracker, "Peter, we've got to fish that out of an alternate reality." Milky Way ACT 3, the hunt for the honorable. Peter spirals into villainy overnight. Headlines read, "Bumbling Magician Obliterates Civic Heritage." Quagmire laments, "The statue's derriere was a work of art. Now marbles off the market." Lois chastises, "Peter, your harebrained ideas are one thing, but dimension thwarting civic codes? That's low, even for you." Stewie, embracing his inner detective, crafts a dimensional locator and identifies the statue amidst a ludicrous universe where inanimate objects are enchanted with consciousness. The family embarks upon the whimsical land, Statuelandia. Mayor West's likeness reigns supreme, now a sentient king over his fellow artifacts. Statues, enjoying newfound life, have opinions and feathers in place of footwear. Mayor statue, time's abundant here, and pigeons have faced my wrath. Stewie's negotiations hit a sour note when Peter inadvertently offends the Statue of Liberty, escalating into a full-fledged marble melee. Brain ACT 4, Abracada backfire. During their bungled escape, Peter foolishly suggests using reverse incantation logic, mumbles words backward, and reimagines himself as a bronze garden gnome in place of a dastardly escape. Brian sighs, "For once, you seem ornamentally suitable." Stewie applies his cerebral gadgetry, securing the statue's cross-dimensional transportation back, albeit it now occasionally winks at the onlookers. Quahog erupts in jubilation. Peter is reformatted to normalcy, yet electricity whimsically arcs from his fingers whenever he sneezes as residue from his magical mishap. Elephant ACT 1, dog? Nope. Elephant. Peter's scrolling Craigslist when he finds an ad, "Big lovable pet, house-trained, eats peanuts, $40. Peter, must be a Saint Bernard. Or like, a weird gray horse." He buys it without asking Lois and shows up with a baby elephant in the front seat of the car. "Peter, meet our new dog. His name's Chewbacca." Brian, "Peter, that's an elephant. A literal elephant." Peter, "Well, he poops, sniffs butts, and eats the couch. Close enough." Montage of a dog training fails. Elephant rips a hydrant out of the ground instead of peeing on it. Peter tries fetch and gets launched into a tree. Stewie rides it like a warlord. This pleases me. Graduation cap ACT 2, trunk of school spirit. The town is initially horrified, but when Peter brings the elephant to James Woods High, it becomes a hit. Principal Shepherd, this is the best mascot we've ever had. They name it a Tusky and give it a little jersey. Tusky becomes a sensation. Leads parades. Dunks basketballs with its trunk. Dances with the cheerleaders, Chris cries tears of joy. Everything's perfect, until a smooth saxophone plays at a pep rally. Tusky snaps. Charges the jazz band, flips over the tuba section, and rips through the bleachers. Saxophone ACT3, Kenny G, and the Chaos Stampede. Lois demands the elephant be returned. Peter, it just needs therapy. Or earplugs. Or maybe it just hates jazz. They test the theory. Country? Fine. Metal? Fine. Kenny G? Full charge mode. Flashback, turns out the elephant grew up in a Thai circus where Kenny G's music was used during elephant dental cleanings. Stewie, so we're dealing with PTSD. Pachyderm trunk stomping disorder. Tusky goes rogue after hearing Kenny G on a car radio. Goes on a jazz-fueled rampage through Quahog, demolishing. Int. Quahog Elementary, Election Day, Lois drops her ballot in the box. Stewie peeks from behind a curtain, laptop in hand. Stewie, typing if democracy won't give me power. I shall seize it through mildly unethical data manipulation. He hits enter. All voting machines blink and print ballots reading, write in, Stewie Griffin. Int. Newsroom, night Tom Tucker, excited in a shocking upset, a toddler has become mayor of Quahog. When asked for comment, his response was. Cut to Stewie at a podium, Stewie, suck it, McCheese. Int. City Hall, Day 1, Stewie sits in an oversized mayor's chair, wearing a tiny cape, sipping espresso. Stewie, first order of business, all citizens must speak in British accents. Secondly, water fountains shall now dispense espresso. And third, no pants on Tuesdays. Brian, you're going mad with power. Stewie, power? I haven't even started. Wait until corgi parades become mandatory. Montage, town descent into caffeinated chaos, quagmire jittering uncontrollably, giggity giggity giggity, heart attack. Joe's wheelchair now espresso powered, zipping uncontrollably through intersections. Chris curled in a tree, reading Shakespeare in a British accent while petting a squirrel. Lois tries to sleep, but Peter is wide-eyed, whispering, espresso fountain, never, closes. Cutaway gag, Rupert takes over finances. Stewie, VO absolute power, corrupts absolutely, like that time I gave Rupert control of my finances. Cut to Rupert in a tiny office, wearing sunglasses and a Bluetooth earpiece. On his screen, Bored Ape number 7639, sold for $800,000. Stewie, off-screen Rupert, no. We talked about NFTs. Rupert silently opens a second browser tab and buys a yacht with crypto. Int. Griffin Garage, Day Peter installs a smart bike AI system he bought off Wish. Peter, now my motorcycle's got artificial intelligence. That means it's smarter than me and can still enjoy Hot Pockets. Stewie, walking by, that bar is underground, you realize. EXT Griffin driveway, moments later Peter climbs onto the bike and presses the AI activation button. The dashboard lights up and speaks in a robotic British voice. Bike, greetings, Peter. Shall we begin our journey toward your heart attack? Peter, wow, fancy. Let's hit the gas. Bike, calculating optimal performance. Error, payload exceeds safety limit. Suggestion, dismount and consider a kale wrap. Peter, offended, what the hell? Are you fat shaming me? Bike, you weigh more than my entire manufacturer's lineup, including the delivery van. Peter, fuming, this thing's worse than Lois. Int. Griffin house, later Peter storms into the kitchen, fuming. Lois, what's wrong? Peter, my motorcycle thinks I'm too fat to ride. It told me to go on a low-carb cross-country walk. Cutaway gag int. GYM, night Peter walks on a treadmill while dragging the motorcycle behind him on a leash like a stubborn dog. Bike, faster, you human beanbag. Burn the donuts. Final tag scene int. Griffin garage, night Peter tries to sneak a ride after midnight, holding a burrito. Bike, waking up, step away from the tortilla, lard bot. Peter sighs and gets off, shuffling away. Bike, softly, good boy. In his trusty armchair, Peter Griffin observes a viral video by a motorcycle influencer. Mesmerized, Peter declares, I can do that. This leads him to create his own channel, Ride or Cry, emphasizing, as he puts it, it's emotionally unstable leather deep. Equipped with black leather jackets, aviators, and a gravelly voice reminiscent of a gritty action movie narrator, Peter introduces himself, the road is my church, and I just hit a squirrel. Sorry, little dude. Hashtag blessed. Peter captures dramatic footage backed by thrilling rock music, only for it to end in shambles. Episode 1, attempting a wheelie, Peter collides with Cleveland's mailbox, prompting an apology video involving lots of splintered wood. Episode 2, Peter parks at a lake for introspection but inadvertently rolls back into the water. Soaked in recording, he muses, nature's way of saying, just stay in your lane, Griffin. Episode 3, on a farm road, Peter insults a group of ducks, calling them feathered freeloaders. Chased relentlessly by the avian posse, he ends the vlog gasping, I might have overstated their freeloading. Episode 4, a shortcut in a car wash for cinematically splendid lighting traps him, helmet cam spinning to showcase the perfect view of his double chin. Episode 5, his helmet cam captures footage of only his double chin for 10 solid minutes. Lois, bewildered by Peter's inexplicable follower count, questions, Peter, how do you have 2 million followers? Peter responds with pride, because pain is content, Lois. And I am an algorithmic martyr. The show's climax unfolds when Peter, boasting of the Ride or Cry live tour, accidentally injures himself with his own bike before adoring fans. When Peter, ever the spectacle, plans a cross-country trek, backed by Quagmire, Joe, and Cleveland, each equipped with absurd travel essentials, Peter's plans derail swiftly. At the Griffin driveway, Peter, all right boys, cross-country freedom ride. Quagmire, beef jerky, flask, and backup flask packed. Joe, a wheelchair bike with rotisserie cooking while riding. Cleveland, audiobook on bird calls ready. They christen the journey by riding through a few suburban streets filled with uncomfortable seats, off-key singing, and rotisserie chicken antics. Within minutes, they pull over as Peter's sore backside signals a change in plans. Defiantly, Peter concludes, let's camp, in the backyard. Later, Peter and his friends toast to their open road plans gone awry, clinking hot dogs like champagne flutes. The cult storyline sees Peter mistakenly joining motorcycle devotees chanting, throttle thy spirit. Peter quickly climbs the spiritual ladder to become Brother Full Throttle, relishing rituals like burning expired license plates. Lois, tracking him down amidst extravagant ceremonies, drags him back to reality, but not before Peter secures his holy spark plug. Returning home, Peter's grill shines under his manic polish, I am the propane prophet. The next day, Peter's midnight motorcycle antics irk the Griffin household. Brian retaliates in full comedic essence by pouring cola into Peter's gas tank. The result produces a sticky roadside saga of Peter and his cola-spraying exhaust, shedding light on mid-ride refreshments. Brian offers a sly beverage rundown of potential soda-petrol hybrids as Peter dreams of Slurpees and Mountain Dew fuel. Brian, sipping his coffee nonchalantly remarks, "Well, maybe next time she'll crave peace and quiet." In the end, Peter's adventures lead him from sublime leather dreams to suburban backyard debacles, with Brian keen to remind him the road to fame is paved with enough chaos already. Home life returns to normal, enveloped in the warmth of soda stains and lots of laughter. Title: Peter's Slippery Empire. Act 1, The Bathroom Breakthrough. Our story kicks off with Peter Griffin embarking on a quest to fix the upstairs toilet he disastrously clogged with an unholy concoction of taco wrappers and toilet paper. Lois, the voice of reason in the Griffin household, insists Peter remedy the situation lest he wants to live with the smell of failure. Having never been best friends with logic, Peter grabs everything he can find under the sink: dish soap, bubble bath, bacon grease, and Joe's muscle relaxant cream borrowed without asking. After an intense bout of plunging and chemical mixing, the toilet blasts open not just with success, but a fantastic swirl of sparkles and foam. Bewildered yet intrigued, Peter washes his hands in the concoction and exclaims, "Oh my God, it's like 1,000 angels massaging my knuckles." Chris films the hand-washing marvel, uploads it to TikTok, and instantly, #SlipperyDaddy goes viral. Act 2, Soap Stardom. Peter, seeing dollar signs instead of soap bubbles, launches a soap brand called Clean Sanity. Stewie designs the bottle, Peter riding a dolphin majestically in a toga. Soon, celebrities are swept away by the soapy sensation. Martha Stewart endorses it, claiming it can clean anything, including jail records. Not one to miss an opportunity, Brian starts selling it as a luxury deep exfoliating experience at dog spas, while Cleveland opens a pop-up store exclaiming, "This soap sold more than my barbecue-flavored toothpaste." Peter's fame shoots to astronomical levels. He hosts a late-night infomercial glamorously titled Slippery Nights with Pete, where he serenades the lather while suspiciously wearing a cape made of loofahs. Meanwhile, users begin exhibiting bewildering side effects: skin shedding, over-exfoliation, and disturbing smoothness. Meg becomes translucent, Stewie quips, "You look like a cling film full of despair." Act 3, The Clean Apocalypse. Quahog finds itself too clean. Its citizens are slip-sliding on their own skin, hospitals are overcrowded with glowing, hairless, over-scrubbed individuals, so Clean Death himself resorts to wearing gloves. Quagmire suffers the ultimate indignity when his skin sheds mid-Tinder date. "Giggity, why is my skin on the floor?" Still counts. All this, yet Peter refuses to admit fault, instead insisting it's a spiritual cleanse. Lois attempts confronting him, only to find him draped in a cape of loofahs, declaring himself the Clean King. Act 4, The Soapy Showdown. In a battle of epic suds, Stewie and Brian concoct an antidote soap dubbed Filthify, brewed from mud, cheese dust, and Joe's old socks. The final battle unfolds between Peter's cleanly cult and Stewie's dirt army in front of Quahog Town Hall, featuring soap balloons versus mud cannons. Peter majestically rides a giant rubber duck into battle while Stewie commands a mud-covered mechanical raccoon. The soap battle comes to a foamy end as Stewie's antidote reigns supreme, restoring Quahog to something resembling normal. Peter loses his soap empire but becomes the spokesperson for a moderation in hygiene campaign. Brian writes a gripping exposé, "Too clean to be true, the soap saga." Lois, relieved, suggests, "Peter, next time you clog a toilet, just call a plumber." A stubborn Peter retorts, "Or, I make shampoo that makes your hair sing." Final gag. Peter attempts to create shampoo using root beer and pop rocks, resulting in the house exploding with bubbles. Act 1. The annoying youths, a gang of rebellious teenage bikers, has taken over the street outside Peter's house, endlessly pulling off wheelies and causing chaos. Every morning, the sound of roaring engines and airborne teenagers grates on Peter's nerves. Annoyed and determined to reclaim his dignity, Peter recalls his glory days on his prized motorcycle, Fatboy Thunder. Act 2. The resurrection of Fatboy Thunder. Peter ventures into the dusty confines of his garage, unearthing Fatboy Thunder, a relic of his wilder youth, adorned with faded paint and a notorious past. With a mix of nostalgia and bravado, Peter decides to challenge the teenage bikers to a showdown, vowing to teach them a lesson in real riding. As he dons his old leather jacket, an impish grin spreads across his face, complete with reckless commentary reminiscent of his bygone misadventures. Act 3. The showdown. The showdown is set on the suburban street. With the teenagers in a tight semicircle, Peter revs Fatboy Thunder and tries to execute an epic wheelie to outshine the gang. However, fate, and the rust on his bike, have other plans. As Peter leans forward, Fatboy Thunder sputters and, in a slapstick moment, flips over spectacularly. Peter lands in a heap on the front lawn, dazed and covered in leaves. Comedic reveal and tag. As the dust settles and the teenage bikers snicker, the camera pans to the back of Fatboy Thunder. With a close-up on a rusted plate, we clearly read, "Property of Quagmire." The image serves as a reminder of Peter's past misadventures with his friend Quagmire, who apparently borrowed the bike without returning it after some questionable escapade. Final beat. In typical Family Guy fashion, the episode wraps up with a cutaway, Quagmire casually sitting in the now fully restored Fatboy Thunder, sipping a martini and winking, as he comments, "Giggity, now that's a ride." Int. Griffin garage, day. Peter, panicking. Lois. Someone stole my bike. My baby. My thunder horse. Lois, deadpan of Peter, "It's just a motorcycle." Peter, clutching handlebars with no wheels, "Not just a motorcycle. She and I had a bond. I named her Vroomhilda." Montage. Peter's investigation. He interrogates suspects like Joe's wheelchair, "Where were you the night of the 14th, chases kids on scooters, and puts up a missing poster that just says, "Reward, Glory." Int. Dive bar. Night. Peter enters wearing a dollar store beard, sunglasses, and a leather vest that says, "Diesel Dave." Peter, deep voice, "I'm looking to join a gang. I like bikes. I like fire. I like meat on sticks." Biker number 1, impressed, "He's in. Anyone who grills while revving is one of us." Montage. Peter and the gang teaches them cool handshakes that are just awkward fist bumps followed by jazz hands. Replaces gang tattoos with washable glitter stamps. Gives them matching name tags, "Hi, I'm Bruiser. Hi, I'm Chainsaw. Hi, I'm Carl." Biker number 2, Diesel Dave, "You've brought order, flair, and a surprisingly decent banana bread." Int. Gang hideout. Later. Peter, "Alright, men. Time for business. Anyone seen a black motorcycle, flames on the side, custom horn that plays a danger zone?" Biker number 3, sheepishly, Yeah, we traded it." Peter, eyes wide, "You what?" Biker number 1, "Yeah, pizza guy came by. Offered a large pepperoni and cheesy bread. Seemed fair." Peter, "You gave away Vroomhilda for a mid-tier PIE." Biker number 2, "It had stuffed crust." Peter, long pause, "Okay. That's fair." Cutaway, pizza guy riding the bike. Pizza guy rides Peter's bike through town, delivering pies while the horn blares, "Danger zone," every time he accelerates. Pizza guy, grinning, "Fast delivery and Kenny Loggins?" Heck, yeah. Back at the bar. Biker number 1, "So, what now, Diesel Dave?" Peter, pulls off fake beard dramatically. The name's not Dave. It's Griffin. Peter Griffin. And my work here is done. He dramatically struts out, slips on banana bread, falls. Peter, on floor, but I still want a slice. The scene unfolds in the Griffin's living room, where Peter is lounging on the couch, flipping through the TV channels. His attention is caught by an infomercial featuring an exuberant life coach. Become a life coach today. No experience needed, the TV blares. Cut to Peter's eyes lighting up with a cartoonish gleam, a vision of him as a successful and revered life coach. Peter jumps up excitedly. Peter, Lois, I found my true calling. I'm gonna be a life coach and charge people $500 an hour. Lois, Peter, are you sure you have any advice to offer? Peter, of course, I do. All problems can be solved if you just punch them in the face. Cutaway gag asterisk Peter, I'm like Tony Robbins if he drank motor oil instead of confidence. Cut to Tony Robbins and Peter having a chugging contest. Peter gulps down a canister labeled motor oil, wins, but bursts into flames. Peter sets up shop on a street corner with a makeshift sign that says, Peter Griffin, Life Coach. His first client is Joe Swanson. Joe, Peter, I feel stuck in my job. Peter, quit and live off the grid. Be free, man. Joe nods, enthusiasm brewing. Sequence of Joe quitting the police, losing his badge, and wheeling himself away gleefully while his colleagues watch incredulously. Meg approaches Peter with her teenage woes. Meg, I'm tired of being invisible at school. Peter, start a Viking cult, Meg. Embrace the Norse spirit. Later, in school, Meg is seen donned in a Viking helmet, rallying a group of students who bang their shields rhythmically and chant Norse sagas. Peter's advice spreads like wildfire. The townsfolk are soon seen engaged in absurd scenarios, a man shadowboxing City Hall, a woman hurling her phone into the ocean. Lois enters the house frustrated, slamming a newspaper on the table. The headline reads, Quahog dives into anarchy following Griffin family wisdom. Lois, Peter, your so-called advice is turning the town upside down. Peter, what? They're living their best life, Lois. Look, I'm earning money. Lois, that's Monopoly money, Peter. Meg took it from Chris's game box. Int. Griffin kitchen, morning, Peter sits at the table, eating a Frosted Owl's cereal. On the back of the box is a crazy maze with ancient symbols. Peter, mouth full. Says if you solve this you win the ultimate knowledge. Probably a coupon or something, I thought. He connects the symbols at random. A glowing triangle appears on the box, then disappears. The lights flicker. Int. Griffin living room, night, two hooded men suddenly appear in a puff of smoke. Hooded figure, Peter Griffin. You have unlocked the sacred sigil of Milkdoor. You are now Illuminati. Peter, still holding cereal bowl, cool. Does this come with dental? Int. Secret Illuminati temple, night, a dark, candlelit chamber. Robed figures chant around a glowing eye of providence. Peter walks in wearing a bathrobe and filming everything on his phone. Peter, yo. What's up, YouTube? We're here at the secret Illuminati base. Let's get into this creepy thing. He pulls out a pizza cutter shaped like the eye of providence. Peter, I turned the symbol into a pizza cutter. Get it? Because it's slice and truth. All the robed members groan. Cutaway gag, Taylor Swift's party, a Peter VO. This is weirder than that time I crashed Taylor Swift's birthday party. Int. Party, night, Taylor Swift stands in a sparkly dress surrounded by celebrities. Peter is behind a DJ table, awkwardly clicking through iTunes. Peter, alright, coming up next is U2's greatest hits, on shuffle. The speaker keeps cutting in and out with aggressive Bluetooth beeping. Taylor starts crying. Taylor, who even is this guy? Peter, whispering, I was promised cake and secrets. Int. Illuminati temple, later, Illuminati leader, Peter. For the last time, stop inviting people to the sacred blood ritual via Facebook events. Peter, but how else are we gonna get RSVPs? I made a flyer and everything. He holds up a poster that says, red triangle pointed up free snacks and world domination, BYOB red triangle pointed up. EXT Griffin driveway, day, Peter stands proudly next to his motorcycle, fiddling with a mess of wires connected to a speaker the size of a washing machine. Brian, watching skeptically, what exactly is that monstrosity? Peter, grinning, Brian, meet my high-tech anti-theft system. The moment someone touches my bike, boom. Full volume Metallica. No one messes with Ride the Lightning. Stewie, how very lowbrow Robocop took you. EXT driveway, night, peaceful silence. Then, a squirrel darts past the tire. Alarm system, guitar master. Master a guitar, massive amps blast Metallica at full volume. The squirrel flings itself into a bush. Montage, squirrel vs metal, day 2, two raccoons scurry by. Guitar, for whom the bell tolls. Day 3, a leaf falls on the seat. Guitar, enter Sandman. Night 4, a moth touches the handlebar. Guitar, seek and destroy. Lois, half asleep, Peter, it's 3 a.m. This bike is not worth losing our homeowner's insurance. Peter, under his blanket, wearing earplugs, Lois, you just don't get the vibe. EXT Griffin front yard, next night, more animals, more Metallica. The neighborhood finally snaps. Dozens of angry neighbors gather with flashlights, robes, bats, and curlers. Neighbor number 1, turn off Metallica or we will. Neighbor number 2, my toddler knows all the lyrics to Battery. Peter, poking head out of window, unfazed, well, that's parenting, baby. Lois drags Peter outside. Lois, fix it. Now. Peter, sighing, walks to the bike. Fine. If Quahog can't handle a little rock and roll. He opens the control panel. Wires spark. The alarm triggers one last time, at double volume. Guitar, die. By my hand, guitar, windows shatter. A bird explodes. Int. Jail cell, later, Peter sits in jail, humming Metallica, hair frizzed out. Peter, to cellmate, totally worth it. Rock never sleeps. Cellmate, well, I do. And if you start humming again, you won't. Int. Griffin garage, day Peter welds a hot dog roller onto the back of his motorcycle. Grease is everywhere. Peter, proudly say hello to Quahog's fastest food delivery system, Grub and Go. Now I can get paid to do 2 things I love, ride bikes and eat meat tubes. Brian, eyeing a bottle of mustard glued to the gas tank, that thing looks like a cholesterol cannon. Peter, exactly. High speed. High flavor. Low expectations. EXT Streets of Quahog, montage Peter zips around town in chaos mode, he dodges traffic, sending hot dogs flying into mailboxes. Grabs a hot dog mid-turn like a greasy action hero, lunch lap. Cuts through a playground while shouting, lunch incoming, children of destiny. Microwave timer on bike beeps, ding. Peter, grinning. Ooh, spicy mustard alert. Scene, first delivery attempt. Peter knocks on a door. Customer opens it eagerly. Customer, hey. Grub and Go. That was fast. Peter, sheepishly holding an empty foil wrapper. Okay, so, the food started here. But then I smelled it, and I panicked. Customer, you ate my dinner? Peter, mouth full, holding half a bun. Don't worry, I still brought a pickle slice. Scene, second delivery. Worse, Peter pulls up to a fancy house with sauce all over his face. Rich woman, where are my truffle dogs and artisan pretzel buns? Peter, okay, technically, they never touched a pretzel bun. So really, I saved you from disappointment. Int. Griffin house, evening. Peter flops on the couch, bloated and surrounded by condiment packets. Lois is furious at Peter. You lost money and upset customers. Peter, I gained experience, Lois. And 10 pounds of sodium. Chris, grabbing a leftover hot dog from the exhaust. Do I smell dinner? Peter, no son, you smell success. And also, burning meat. Cutaway, TV commercial for Grub and Go. Peter stands in front of the smoking bike in a fast-talking fake ad. Peter, hot dogs. Hot speed. Cold regrets. Grub and Go, delivery time, who knows? Food quality, questionable. Voiceover, not responsible for missing buns, bites, or digestive incidents. Int. Griffin house, living room, night. Chris runs in, covered in glitter and holding a camera. Chris, a mom. Dad. I just got 1 million views for doing the sneeze in a library challenge. I think I'm famous now. Lois, Chris, you sneezed on a librarian's cat. Chris, proudly. Yeah, and now I'm collabing with a guy who poured maple syrup in his eyes for subscribers. Peter, genuinely impressed. That's the kind of initiative I never had. Montage, Chris's pranks go viral. Glue your hand to your head for 24 hours. Chris walks around town like a sweaty, one-handed unicorn. Lick a subway pole challenge. Cut to Chris immediately puking into a saxophone case. Hide in the White House bushes and yell boo at the president as Secret Service tase him while he live streams. Int. Griffin house, kitchen, night. TV news blares in the background. Chris scrolls on his phone, surrounded by merch, prank goddess shirts, fart-scented candles, etc. TV anchor, leading to tensions with 3 NATO countries after a teenager glued googly eyes to a Russian ambassador. Lois, panicking Chris. You're on an international watch list. Chris, giddy. I know. I got verified and sanctioned on the same day. Cutaway gag, banana sues TikTok. Chris, VO, I'm more popular than that banana that sued TikTok. Int. Courtroom, day, a banana wearing glasses stands at the plaintiff's table. Banana, shouting objection. Your Honor, they peeled my image without consent. The judge nods while casually eating fruit salad with a smirk. Judge, overruled. And delicious. Rocket ACT1, the tofu ticket to the stars. Brian, feeling bloated from earth toxins, after a bad chilly night with Peter, decides he needs to detox. He finds a suspicious Craigslist ad, silent vegan wellness retreat, escape meat, find peace, embrace space. Brian. Ooh. Holistic. Maybe I'll finally feel good about myself and wear a hemp scarf. Stewie glances at the fine print, location, Mars. Stewie, you know that's a literal planet, right? Brian, sure it is, Stewie. Next, you'll say Pluto's not a fruit. Cut to Brian unknowingly boarding a SpaceX rocket full of hippies, dogs, and one confused FedEx guy. Ringed Planet ACT2, Houston, we have a poodle. Brian wakes up mid-flight. Sees Mars through the window. Brian, this is not big, sir. Flight attendant, welcome to plant-based Mars, colonized by ethically raised dogs and cosmic kombucha. On Mars, Brian steps out and is immediately greeted by a cult of hyper-intelligent space dogs. Their leader is a pug with a glass monocle named Barkov the Wise. Barkov, the prophecy foretold of the Earthhound with sarcasm and alcoholism. You are him. Brian tries to explain it's all a mistake, but the dogs worship him. They chant Broof. 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 They build a statue of him using tofu bricks and tennis balls. They give him a throne and a robe made of recycled leash fibers. Dog ACT3, Messiah Mutt meltdown at first, Brian enjoys it. Free head scratches, tofu feasts, daily yoga. A Shiba Inu brings him martinis in a space helmet. But soon, it turns sour. He's expected to deliver a sermon every day. Today's topic, why fetch is a metaphor for life. The colony expects him to perform miracles, like summoning bacon from air. He can't leave because the spaceship is powered by tail wags, and they stop wagging when morale drops. Meanwhile, back on Earth, Stewie sees the live broadcast titled Brian of Mars, Savior of the Sniffers. Stewie, typical. You chase your tail and land on Mars. Lois, should we get him back? Peter, nah. He looks happy. And Mars is farther away from my farts. Alien ACT4, Tofu Uprising and Cosmic Truth. Brian gives a speech begging them to stop worshipping him. I came for tofu, not interplanetary worship. The space dogs revolt, led by a rival dog named a Crater, a militant bulldog who wants to rule through barking. Epic dog fight breaks out, like, literally, dogs barking and floating in zero-G. Brian throws tofu bricks, rides a robotic dog walker like a horse, and uses his birth sarcasm to outwit Crater. Stewie arrives in a custom spaceship called the Snoot Patrol to rescue Brian. Brian, how did you even build a ship that fast? Stewie, same way I made a clone of you that failed at dating. Don't question it. Globe showing Europe Africa ACT5, Homeward Hound. As they leave, the dogs rename the colony New Pock City and elect Barkov again. Brian leaves behind a final message, be good, share treats, question authority.